5 years after the original Ghostbusters became a cultural phenomenon, fans were desperate to see the team return, and in 1989 their wish was granted. But behind the slime, laughs, and proton packs was a Ghostbusters 2 production that nearly went completely off the rails. I'm talking about last-minute script rewrites, entire endings scrapped after test audiences hated them, and behind-the-scenes decisions that almost changed the movie forever. In fact, some of the most iconic moments you remember today only exist because the original plan didn't work. So if you think you know Ghostbusters 2, well, think again, because today we're getting into 12 crazy behind-the-scenes facts that might just change the way you see the sequel forever. Number 12. The cast initially refused to return. Could you even imagine the cast of Ghostbusters 2 not coming back? They didn't exactly jump at the chance to return for the sequel, which included Bill Murray. Murray was famously very reluctant to revisit the iconic Dr. Peter Venkman role, and he openly admitted that he wasn't in a rush to do another film. That's because he believed sequels were often driven by greed and not creativity, and he wasn't sold on the idea that a second Ghostbusters film was even necessary. But here's where it gets even more crazy. Filmmakers had to pitch what they thought was an exciting story just to convince the cast to reunite after years apart. When filming began, Murray discovered the script was nothing like the pitch they'd been promised, and he even joked, "What the hell is this?" when faced with the unexpected changes. He wasn't the only one hesitant, though. Co-creator Dan Aykroyd admitted it took a unanimous approval from everyone before the project could even move forward. Number 11. The script went through multiple tone reversals. The making of the script was full of twists and changed so much before the final movie was finished. Dan Aykroyd's early drafts were different from the story we know today. One version even had Dana Barrett kidnapped in Scotland. The Ghostbusters would have been pulled into a world of Celtic folklore, fairy rings, and an underground civilization. Just imagine the iconic team leaving New York behind for a dark and mythic adventure. That idea didn't last, though. Instead, it was reworked into the city-based plot that we're all familiar with. And that's not all. A dozen script drafts were written, crazy ideas like Banshee-related subplots and totally different climaxes came and went as the team tried to strike the perfect balance. The tone of the film kept changing, going back and forth between spooky, supernatural ideas and the funny, light-hearted style that fans loved. It left behind tons of what-ifs about how different it may have turned out. Number 10. Pink slime replaced darker supernatural elements. One of the most crazy changes behind the scenes was how the creepy supernatural threat in New York would turn into a giant river of pink slime that reacted to emotions. At first, the spooky force was supposed to be much darker and scary, but the filmmakers kept changing ideas. They decided to combine all of the spooky vibes with humor and family-friendly fun, and that's where the weird mood slime idea came in. The pink slime would feed off of people's bad moods and soak up negativity, and would also be charged with good feelings to do great things, like bringing the Statue of Liberty to life. Director Ivan Reitman and the team worked together to make this bright slime unforgettable, so instead of traditional scary ghosts, the nearly 100,000 gallons of glowing, flowing slime became the star threat and made the movie one of a kind. Number 9. Merchandise pressure influenced story decisions. When the success of merchandise and an animated TV show begins shaping the plot of a blockbuster sequel, you know things are going to get wild, but that's exactly what happened in 1989. The studio and the runaway popularity of the real Ghostbusters cartoon had a massive influence on the movie. Suddenly, the original snarky, spooky vibe gave way to a family-friendly comedy aimed straight at toy-buying kids. Slimer, who was just a little troublemaker in the first movie, was turned into a fun and friendly mascot that practically screamed, "Make me into a toy." Even Janine Melnitz got a complete makeover, becoming a loud and crazy character more like the version from the cartoon. And the slime blower packs felt like they were made just to sell more toys. Then there's the big finale with the Statue of Liberty, like a redo of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man scene from the first film, but obviously designed to keep selling merch. Number 8. The Statue of Liberty scene was controversial internally. Everyone remembers that moment when the Ghostbusters brought the Statue of Liberty to life and marched her through the streets of Manhattan. But the crazy part is the iconic scene almost didn't take place the way we know it. Behind the scenes, the sequence resulted in tons of debate and creative chaos amongst filmmakers. They went back and forth on how to end the film, experimenting with wild ideas that were ultimately scrapped. One version had Lady Liberty peacefully restored back on the island, while others, well, they suggested Slimer flying out of her torch as a nod to the first movie. But the challenges didn't stop there. Making the statue walk convincingly was not child's play. The team built giant models, relied on a foam suit worn by an actor, and mixed in miniatures with effects to bring the scene to life. It took a lot of revisions, but persistence paid off. Number 7. The villain was rewritten repeatedly. What happens when the villain's not scary enough? Filmmakers find themselves wrestling with this exact problem as they developed Vigo the Carpathian, played by Wilhelm von Homburg. From the beginning, Vigo went through countless rewrites and redesigns. Early ideas pictured him coming straight out of his creepy painting or wearing scary monster makeup, and some even connected him to other ghosts that were powered by the evil slime. None of it clicked though, and test audiences did not feel he posed a real threat. So filmmakers had to rework his presence. And what's even crazier, they reshot scenes to give Vigo a stronger connection to the heroes and made sure his menace felt real. Behind the scenes, effects team struggled with creating a painting that felt alive and chilling, and every detail of his character would be tweaked and altered up until the very end. Number 6. Wilhelm von Homburg walked out of the premiere when he knew his voice was dubbed. Here's a crazy thing that happened when Wilhelm von Homburg went to the movie premiere. Imagine working so hard on set, acting out your role, saying your lines, and bringing a scary villain to life, only to realize while watching that your voice was totally replaced. And that's exactly what happened. During filming, he provided all of Vigo's menacing dialogue, but after the production wrapped, creators decided to dub over his lines with the voice of legendary actor Max von Sydow. They decided that von Homburg's voice did not match the creepy, scary feel they wanted for the character, and the biggest problem was nobody told von Homburg about it before the premiere. When he sat down to watch the movie and heard someone else's voice coming from his character, he was so angry he stormed out of the theater. Number 5. Practical slime effects caused health complaints. The filmmakers did not leave a single detail unchecked when it came to the slime effects, but what many people don't know is that the gooey scenes were uncomfortable because the slime they used was a veggie-based gel that was mixed with dyes and other stuff. It might sound harmless, but not so much for the actors who were drenched in it. Ernie Hudson shared that filming in New York's freezing December temps made it even worse. You have to think about that for a moment. Cold slime seeping through your jumpsuit while you stand outside shivering between takes? They couldn't stay warm because the set didn't have heat, and it doesn't stop there. The sticky, slimy mess clung to them, take after take, with long days on the set, and it made them feel every second of it. Number 4. Test audiences rejected earlier endings. How crazy does it get when a movie's ending is completely scrapped and rewritten only weeks before the big release? That's exactly what happened. Test audiences were disappointed with the original ending, and filmmakers had no choice but to change the final 25 minutes of the film. Early preview screenings revealed major problems. Audiences did not feel that Vigo was threatening enough, and the connection between the pink slime and the climax wasn't clear. Director Ivan Reitman called the original resolution a horrible death and quickly went back to the drawing board. Within only 4 frantic days, new scenes were shot to increase the tension and make everything more exciting and satisfying. They had to add in extra moments to explain the slime's strange emotional charge since the viewers weren't getting it, and that's what you call a last-minute save. Number 3. The film was softened for younger audiences. Many might not know the original tone of Ghostbusters was softened on purpose. The filmmakers wanted to make it fit better for kids and families because after the cartoon The Real Ghostbusters became a hit, they felt pressure to please the younger fans. They made changes to match the success of the cartoon. Slimer, the goofy green ghost, was brought back. Some scenes became more silly and lighthearted instead of scary and intense. The adult humor and sharp edge from the first film was dialed down, so instead they focused on Dana's baby, giving the story a sweet, family-friendly vibe. Everything would be designed to feel brighter and fun for children while still entertaining to older fans. The shift made the sequel feel more like a playful adventure than an edgy comedy the original was. Number 2. it became more appreciated years later than on release. When the film first hit the theaters, critics thought it lacked the charm and energy of the first movie, and audiences were not exactly raving about it. It ended up with a modest 55% on Rotten Tomatoes and did not perform as well at the box office either. But nobody knew that the tables would turn. Over time, people began to see it in an entirely different light. Fans and critics have gone back and found things to love about it, like its unforgettable moments, unique character interactions, and the festive seasonal vibe that it brought to the story. Now more and more people argue that when you stop comparing it to the original, it actually holds up pretty well on its own. Number 1. A real actor was fully encased in a hidden Statue of Liberty suit. When you watch the film for the first time, you may think the iconic scene where the Statue of Liberty goes through New York was done with fancy effects and miniatures, but it wasn't. For some shots, a real person was inside a full Statue of Liberty suit. Actor Jim Fye was fully encased in a foam costume, complete with a sculpted toga, helmet, arms, and even a face mask to look just like Lady Liberty. He walked through scaled-down city models while being filmed against matte backgrounds, and to make it even more realistic, they added wires to light the torch and used miniature builds of the city. The clever mixture of practical effects and miniatures made it look like the giant statue was truly striding through the streets. Rewatch the film, and you'll notice all the work that went into making Lady Liberty come to life. What's your favorite part of Ghostbusters 2? Be sure to let me know, and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you know when we upload another video like this. Got any recommendations on movies? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.